Previously on Are Psychics, Witches, and Aliens Real?
You know, they have like a lot of carnivals. There's a lot of societies moving and, you know, more people becoming more and more open to spirituality. A lot of different traditions and practices around.
90% of the world nowadays, because spirituality is growing more and more every day, it's not a secret anymore. Now because spirituality is so big, there's no secret, even to the skeptics. I am very well known to turn skeptics into believers. Do you know how many skeptics I've turned into believers?
Welcome to my life adventures. I'm the one and only Monica the Spirit Queen. I'm a professional psychic medium and a paranormal investigator. My crew and I lurk in the shadows at night, hunting spirits and demons. I do readings, break black magic spells, travel, expose fake psychics, and have clients from around the world. I'm no nonsense when it comes to respect and honesty. I have a crazy busy life, but I love it. My family keeps me going with their love and support. I will never give up, no matter what demons I have to face.
The only way that you can allow entities to affect you when it comes to cell phones is if you energetically connect to whatever you're watching. Because a cell phone is a screen, right? Whether it's a phone screen or a TV screen or a laptop. Whatever you're watching, like, have you seen some paranormal shows when they come across like a haunted doll and then they say, look into the doll's eyes if you dare, if something's gonna happen? Well, technically, nothing will happen through the screen if you don't allow it to happen. If it doesn't phase you and if you're just watching it for entertainment purposes. Same thing with phones. People use their phones all the time. They go on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. So if you allow it to affect you, you're opening those doors, those portals yourself. Because a screen cannot affect you no matter what. You know, people say, oh, don't look into this doll's eyes, or Peggy the doll, or whatever it is, Annabelle or whatever. I actually have a lot of haunted dolls myself. I do have to give that disclosure to people only because I want you guys to be aware something will happen. You can't open that line of connection, that energetic connection. You can open a portal if you allow it to. If you're doing it yourself, if you allow it to affect you of whatever you're watching at that time, it has nothing to do with the phone. It has to do with you and your energy and your connection to. Plus, a lot of people get affected through fear too. So it could be a lot of times it could be psychological. You know what I'm saying? Not a lot of people are strong enough or have their spiritual doors open for any of those things to affect you through a screen. But it could also be psychological as well. If you look into a haunted doll's eyes through a TV screen or your cell phone, you continuously say to yourself, oh my God, I'm going to see a nightmare tonight. I'm going to see a nightmare. This doll is going to come after me. Then yes, you are going to have a nightmare that night. But it doesn't necessarily mean that the doll is coming after you. The doll doesn't even know you behind a screen. You're watching the doll. The doll can't see you. The doll's not watching you. Does it make sense? So he or she has no idea who the fuck you are, basically. So going back to, can a phone affect you? It can affect you if you allow it to affect you, and a lot of times it can be psychological because you are continuously thinking about it, and it will drive you crazy. So no, a phone cannot affect you unless you allow it to. Does it make sense?
Yeah, so it's more about the attention that you put onto it.
Right. It's what you allow the phone to do to you, not what the phone is automatically going to do to you when you're watching something. Absolutely not.
So, okay. So it's the opening of your mind that causes that to happen, if it does happen.
Right. And if you're thinking about a specific thing that you're watching, you can purposely, by accident, open up portals in your home. And then you're going to blame your phone for it, and your phone had nothing to do with it. It was you doing it psychologically, which tapped into you energetically to your connection, and now you're opening up all these portals out of fear. Because what happens when you're scared? You do dumb shit a lot of times, right? So when you're scared, you will purposely accidentally open up a portal. Purposely, energetically, accidentally, without wanting to or even knowing that you're opening up a portal. In case people have a question about that.
Like when that happens, okay, let's say hypothetically that happens, is the portal open through the person, or is it the person's eyes? How does that work?
When people open up portals, they use their energy to do it.
The environment, like if they watch something and then they transfer over to the environment.
Yeah, they transfer their energy, exactly. Yep. you transfer your energy. And again, you know, the unknown, of course, is going to be scary for a lot of people because it's the unknown. If you can't see, hear, feel spirits, but all of a sudden some poltergeist activity starts happening in your home and you get scared, they feed off of that fear too. You know what I'm saying? Your energy, they feed off of fear. So if you're watching something with your phone and then you get scared, like I said, you think this doll, this haunted doll that you're watching on a screen that has no idea who the hell you even are, that doesn't even know your name, doesn't even know you even exist, because they're filming from a whole different place. That they don't even know a lot of these famous people don't even know your name. They don't even know you exist, even on the internet. But it's your choice to watch them, right? And then when you're watching it, again, it can affect you psychologically, which can tap into your spiritual side energetically, and you can open up portals. Fear plays a very big factor when it comes to spirituality, and that's one of the things that I teach in our classes, right, Johnny, is not to be afraid, especially of certain things.
Yeah, that makes sense. I wondered about those CCTV videos that go viral about, you know, it shows different events, different, you know, people's behavior while they're sleeping or shifting around.
Right. And that can mean various of different things. It could mean that they have some kind of an attachment, a spiritual attachment or a demonic attachment. Nightmares can actually open up portals too. So if you go to bed and you're tossing and turning, and you go to bed angry, pissed off, upset, sad, whatever emotions, you know, negative emotions, and you have a nightmare, you can manifest that nightmare and actually open up a portal in your home as well. Because it's your energy. What happens when you're sleeping and dreaming? You feel like you're there at the moment. It's like astral projection without actually traveling. And it's obviously connected to your energy. So you can accidentally open up portals while you're having a nightmare.
Yes, there needs to be more discussions like this about energy, because we don't, like, energy is so, it's an intelligence, and we're doing a lot of things unconsciously, not knowing what the impact is.
Right, exactly. All right, what's the next question?
Kind of touched on something I was going to ask already. The paranormal, you know, it's like the telltale signs there's paranormal activity, like in a household, or, you know, like at a business office or something like that. You know, light flickering on and off. You know, random things happening. What are some other signs versus, you know, other people's behavior, like temperature in a room, or sounds, or, you know, noises, or things like that? What are some other telltale signs for paranormal activity, or there's something spiritually else going on in that environment?
What are the signs that let you know if there's a spirit around?
Yes.
There's many different ways that you can, that's a great question. There's many different ways of figuring out that there's a spiritual attachment. It doesn't even have to be a spiritual attachment. I'm going to retract that right now. Anytime there's a spirit around, if there's spiritual activities around, sometimes there will be zero activity. You don't have to see a chair flying across the room, or pictures falling off the wall, or crosses being turned upside down, or any of that stuff, like the poltergeist stuff that happened. But yes, you are right. You can actually walk in through these pockets of cold areas in rooms. I think the most interesting, funny, and the most dumbest questions all put together is when people ask me, after almost 15-20 years of doing this for the public, ask me, Monica, are you haunted? Are you ever haunted? I love you guys to death, but stop asking me that question. That is the most dumbest question anyone could ask me, especially with the spiritual work that I'm doing. I always have one foot here and one foot in the spiritual realm. To answer and sum up everyone's questions, Monica is always haunted. Another way that you guys could feel or tell that there's a spiritual energy around, the electricity or the feeling shifts in the room. There's times when I would walk in somewhere and I'll be like, oh no, everything is fine. Like, for example, I go to my clients' houses a lot, so I'll walk into their house and then there's nothing going on in the living room, there's nothing going on downstairs, anything. But then we go upstairs into the bedroom, and then I turn the corner and I'm walking into one of their bathrooms, and I just stand right there in front of the bathroom. I'm like, holy shit, I feel something negative coming out of that fucking room. So you can feel the energy shifting. It could go from very light to very dark in 2 seconds, depending, like you could just turn the corner of a house or wherever you're at, and it could just hit you. Like that negativity, that darkness. You don't even have to see it, but you could feel it. It will just hit you. The third way that you could feel it, which is the obvious for everybody, is actually feeling them, physical touch, because they will touch you. you. If it depends on how strong the entity is, and depends how much energy that spirit has. Stronger they are, that means they're energetically charged really well. They have a lot of energy, and they use that energy to physically touch you, and for you to be able to feel them, that's a very strong entity that's touching you. Or you can hear them, and it's not always growls. This is why I get so frustrated with the fake ones out there that make dumb videos. And yeah, I'm calling out on them. I don't give a shit. They can kiss my ass. But you know, you don't always hear growls when it comes to hearing spirits talking. Okay, so stop exaggerating. That's not the Conjuring movie or all this other bullshit. You don't always hear growls. There are spiritual beings that are able to communicate with you, like my spirits are, or you know, other spirits I go and have communications with, that they actually do talk to you, just like you and I are talking right now. They do communicate, they do talk to you. So there are, exactly, and sometimes they do it telepathically as well, which is big in the spiritual realm, is telepathically. You use your mind 90% of the time when it comes to spirituality. Your energy and your mind, you put them together, you could create something really amazing when it comes to spirituality. You can actually open your spiritual doors a lot more if you're working together with your energy and your mind. But that goes for later on. I don't recommend anyone doing that shit and then coming back and saying, Monica, you just made me do that. No, I don't make anyone do anything. Don't do it. This is a disclosure. Don't do any of the stuff Johnny and I are discussing tonight, okay? Do not copy us. Do not. If you want the help that you need, you can always contact me at monicaspiritqueen.com. Make sure that you leave your phone number. Without a phone number, I don't waste my time. Your emails automatically get deleted, and I don't even take care of that stuff, just like I don't take care of the financial shit anymore either. I'm free from that. When it comes to spirituality, you guys need to be careful of what you guys are doing. Pure and simple. And you need to take my mentoring classes as well. But yeah, there's so many different ways that you can actually feel that there's a spiritual being next to you. Sometimes it can be psychological, and your mind could play tricks on you. But if you feel other things rather than just thinking that it's in your mind, that you're feeling stuff around you, if you actually physically see things or feel things around you, then you're not crazy. There's actually a spiritual being around you.
Okay. So with the spiritual being around, another question is, like, what's the difference between a familiar spirit? Like,
difference between what?
Or a familiar spirit or a trickster spirit. Because sometimes there's like, you know, we have a loved one that passed, and you know, there could have been some unresolved things on the table, but sometimes, you know, things work themselves out on a spiritual level when we rest. But how, if we hear a voice or feel an impression while we're resting, that sense, it seems like it could be that loved one that was lost. How do we know that is not a trickster spirit, or is that a familiar spirit? Because I know a lot of these spirits, they want that attention and energy from humans. So how do we know this is either, yes, this could be our loved one that passed, or it's a familiar spirit or a trickster spirit?
That's a really good question. First and foremost, if you have to question what spirit is around you, whether it's a good spirit, and you're saying a trickster, let me translate that so everybody can understand. Trickster means other than your loved one, that's trying to trick you into making you think that it is your loved one, but in reality it's not. And how do you determine if it is your loved one or not? Well, number one, you contact me so I can look into it. First and foremost. In the meantime, if it is a relative or a loved one of yours, a true entity, you will feel that familiar feeling between the two of you when that individual was still alive with us. You understand what I'm saying? If you feel that same energetic connection, if you feel that same personality per se of that person, right, then you would know that yes, that is my relative. For example, I've had loved ones that passed away, some that I was close with, and some could go to hell. I don't care about. The ones that I was close with, my grandmother's always been an angel. The first time she came to visit me, I don't allow my loved ones to visit me, number one, because it's very, very dangerous. You don't want a loved one to stick with you and live with you in your own home and visit you as often as they would love, or as often as you would love, because it's not safe for them. We are surrounded by a lot of demonic entities, a lot of darkness on this earth. So good spirits are not safe to stay here, period. They could come visit and then they can leave, but they're not safe to stay. Now, when my grandmother came, for example, I felt not just the fact that I smelled her perfume, and she has this natural body smell, like everybody has their body odor, right? She had this natural smell that I was familiar with, because I remember since I was little, I used to fall asleep on her chest and I could smell her perfume, the body wash, the shampoo, the conditioner, the body wash, the soap, like, you know, everything was familiar. So when she visits and I smell that, before I even open my eyes to see if she's here or not, I already know she's with me. I know that she's just popped in to visit, to say hi, and then of course I open those doors of portals again and send her back to where she came from, because she doesn't belong to stay here for too long, unfortunately. So that familiar scent or familiar feeling, like that energy, that feeling, like my grandmother, she always made me feel like I'm an adult now. But until today, when she visits me, I swear I go back to when I was 10 years old, and it brings back those memories of me being with her when I was that young. You know what I'm saying? It makes me feel vulnerable. It makes me feel like I put all my walls down for my grandmother, and Jesus, take the wheel. Grandma, take the wheel. You know what I'm saying? Like, just comfort me. Just take me in your arms and comfort me while you're here visiting me. And that's the feeling that I get. A very familiar, very comfortable feeling. Now, anytime you have to question an entity around you, a spiritual being around you, even if you question the slightest second, then it's definitely not your loved one. Because if it is your loved one, you would know it right away. But at the second you have to question and ask yourself why, what if, blah blah blah, then it's not going to be your loved one. Or if you feel like their energy is a little bit off, it's not going to be your loved one, because no matter what, your loved one that connects to you, that visits you, their energy will never ever be off. So anytime there's a big question mark above that entity, they're not supposed to be there. It's not your loved one. Does it make sense?
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.